Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, do we have any additions to the agenda?
We have another tuition agreement.
Okay, so we'll just add that.
Yep.
The ones that are there.
We should have two of them, right, Russ?
There's
We have
like
two
5
on
of
here.
them.
Okay. Just make sure we have them all, because there was a lot of them.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the agenda? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public comment.
So on that one, we'll go over the policy later in the meeting, but we do have an existing policy. It's in your pile that I had under your agenda. It is decisions on non-agenda items. So BCE, that just talks about listening to presentations by patrons, but will not make a decision until the next regular school board meeting, so is in place currently. But I haven't heard of anybody who wanted to speak tonight. Nobody's submitted anything or asked to be here.
Okay. Close public comment. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Did anybody have any questions on the consent agenda? No questions? Okay, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I so move.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Principal reports.
Those were in the consent agenda?
Sorry, I was looking old business.
If you didn't, I just put them in because I thought it would be
Yeah, it was
a
nice to
good
go
place
through
to
and read
put
them.
it, so.
I guess I should have asked if you guys had any additions to those at all before we did that, sorry. Okay, old business, cell phone policy.
So the cell phone policy, we need to adopt tonight. So we're ready next week. The two main questions that we had were the consequences and consequences or expectations for staff. Consequences are on page 7. I talked to some other districts. Kidder County is pretty close to what we were trying to accomplish with our consequences. Theirs are a little bit different. For their first violation, you confiscate the device, contact parent, student receives detention, and administrator returns device to student at the end of the school day. So that's the very first one. Second violation, confiscate device, contact parent, student receives ISS, in-school suspension. And student cannot participate in any extracurricular practices or events on that day of the infraction. Administrator returns device to student at the end of the school day. And then student will serve a full day of in-school suspension. So if they're caught with a device during sixth period, they will have in-school suspension from then for the rest of the day, plus the next day they'll have in-school suspension from first period through fifth period. And third violation and any additional violations, school term, confiscate device, contact parent. ISS, again, can't participate in any extracurricular practices or events on the day of the infraction. Administrator returns device to student at the end of the day. Additional offenses may result in additional discipline per administration. So I guess Misty and Jordan talked about it. They're gonna be the main two are having to deal with it. And I'm not sure where you guys fell on, kind of in between, didn't you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I guess we felt that there's no reason we couldn't give it back to the students, the first and second violation, but the third violation, we talked about the parents coming to get the device. Or whatever device is.
And he had sent me Care County's too, and I had suggested having like the second one maybe not be in school suspension, because that seems
Well,
like
that's-
kind of like a bit short.
We brought that up too, we very little try to do ISS or especially OSS because if you're out of school, what are you learning? But, I mean, there are times it happens because, you know, we have a safety issue or if we have something else, but like a fight or whatever, but this one's really up to everyone what you guys would like to see.
Like even the first violation, I agreed with Jessie. She had mentioned that having detention on the first violation was kind of harsh too. So I mean,
And what all decides what like if the phone somehow is not on vibrate or silent or whatever, is that a violation?
Yep.
I mean, so
yep,
just by simply having it in the little pouch and not having it
that has to
turned
be off.
off.
Yeah. Silent, yeah. So yeah, if we hear it, it's a violation. If we see it, it would be a violation.
I really do agree, Jesse, that we could have detention the second one and ISS the next one.
you get detention the second one.
Yeah, because the first violation, like when they were looking at Care County's, the first one is that they received detention. Yeah, he had emailed me because of the policy.
I think I have CARES.
I have it here too. So level one, what do you want it to say? We'll just do level one infraction, first violation. Right now, the policy says confiscate device, contact parent, administrator returns device to student at the end of the school day.
I think that's okay, in my
Okay.
opinion.
Second violation, confiscate device, contact parent, administrator returns device to parent during a conference meeting, develop a compliance plan. I don't know on the second violation if a meeting is gonna,
That's what, I mean,
It's
I don't
gonna
think
help.
meeting's really that necessary at that point.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about having the parent come and get it, or do we still give it to the student at the end of the day?
I don't know that one, I think you can still give to the student, but I'm not opposed to doing detention rather than.
What if you still gave it to the parent on the or like the second one, make the parent come in, and then the third one could be the detention, because maybe that'll.
I'd rather have my kid get detention than me have to come.
Okay, well, I don't have kids in high school,
At least
so.
I don't know about everybody else, but
Yeah, when when I may have gotten detention back in that wasn't like, it was like a free class, you just got to sit and not have to do anything,
Yeah.
what are you really learning from detention?
I mean, if you have a sport or a
You're
sport or
late for your
activity
sport,
going on,
yeah.
then
I would have been more scared of my parents going and having me go get my phone than having to be in detention, so.
well, I mean, I probably would still take the phone away at that point, but I don't wanna come to the school to pick it up.
I guess I don't know, what do you guys think?
I think second offense, I think we could confiscate device, contact parent, administrator returns device to student, and then student serves detention.
I mean, you're contacting the parents, so it's not like the kids are gonna be able to get away with it.
So is detention during school or after school?
After school.
So the parents gotta come get the kid anyway, cause they're not getting the bus ride home then.
Well, I'm guessing these will be high schoolers.
Right, that are probably driving.
Like a freshman,
Yeah, I mean,
but they gonna drive,
yeah, the possibilities there.
yeah.
So what about activities, cause that was listed? What do you guys wanna do about that?
I think that's where third violation would come in, is they don't get to participate in their activity that day.
Okay, so second, we have confiscate device, contact parent, administrator returns device to student, student serves detention,
How long is the detention?
1 hour.
Okay. Do you think that should be put in there?
Yep, I can do that.
And
If
they're-
a kid is in
And they're late?
detention, they would miss that whole practice then, right? They wouldn't be able to go to the last half hour.
Well,
No, they could
They
go
could
to
go
They
Yeah.
could go to the last
Yeah,
half hour.
at
Okay,
that
that's what I'm
time.
asking, if they'd have to miss, because that's what I wanted to clarify.
Is
It's up
it
to
that
the
they
coaches,
cannot
really.
participate, or they can't participate for the hour that they're in the detention?
Just
Or
the
is the-
hour.
and then like the
On
third
the second.
offense is where
On the second
they
one, they
can't
could still go to the
participate
practice
afterwards.
even if there's a game.
Gotcha.
Okay, third violation, confiscate device, contact parent, administrator returns device to parent during a meeting. Review compliance plan, detention or in-school suspension may be imposed in accordance with school discipline procedures and policies. And then this would be if you wanted to add in, student cannot participate in any activity that day.
I think so. And then honestly, I don't even think we need to go to 5 levels, that seems
No, I don't think
ridiculous
so
at that point.
either.
If they can't figure that out after.
I think, I mean, even stopping at the third,
Actually,
I think
there's
is
7.
fine.
If you go level 2 infraction, that's 7. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 7.
Was this what we're looking at here authored by the school board association or?
Yes.
So do you guys want that statement in, or any additional offenses may result in additional discipline? So we don't have to have 7? And leave it at 3?
Well, I would do, so what my thought was, that I would do a 4th one, and I mean, I would be fine for them not participating for 3 days in activities. That's where their most, enjoyment comes out of it, and you need to have consequences for not listening that many times.
So 4th violation, confiscate device, contact parent, administrator returns device to parent during a meeting. Review compliance plan. I don't like the 1 day of out of school suspension. So we can say in school suspension.
I feel like this is really escalating, like this is coming on pretty freaking hard for cell phones. I think we're going a little bit over the top, but that's my personal opinion on it. I mean, we're gonna go from, you're not supposed to have it, now you're supposed to lock it in the thing, and now if it rings, you're gonna have in-school suspension if it happens too many times. I mean, I don't know, I just feel like it's
But if you don't do anything about it, then what's the repercussions for
Yeah,
listening?
I get that.
I don't know if the state's gonna look at all these policies that the school has, but the law says the school has to show that there are some strict policies to follow. So, or strict rules.
So buzzing or ringing counts in the pouch locked up.
I see, that's what I struggle with.
Cause I mean,
Like, it's inaccessible,
and-
you
and
forgot to silence it, and now we're automatically at a level 1 because we failed to silence our phone, but we
This
did
is
lock it in the pouch.
this is over 9 months too, I mean.
Well, and I think,
I forget at work.
right, I
to
mean,
turn my
the
phone
Could
the
there
shutting
be
it
a
off
grace
part is,
period
the
till they get
shutting it
used to
off
it?
part is where I kinda struggled. If it's in the
Yeah.
pouch and it's shut off, or it's,
Yeah.
makes a noise, okay, hey, let's remember to shut it off. I don't know if that necessarily needs to be a level 1 right away, honestly. But if it keeps continuing over and over,
Right.
then that's when
I think
it
we
needs
should
to change.
have some, little bit of.
Well-
Way in some of this too.
I mean, this was, guys, this is just a suggestion. We can, I mean, there's nothing that says we can't strike out silencer turned off. The number 1 under,
Well, that's part of the law. Specifically,
it specifically says that in the law.
yes.
So we can't give them a grace period to get used to it.
Well,
We-
it's still,
at the
even
end
if
of
it
the day, we
rings,
can do whatever we want.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
who's gonna,
that's why I say there's,
Is this a law or
this
is
is-
it guidance from the?
no,
This
it's
is a law.
passed by the legislature.
uh,
But my question is, if we do it how we wanna do it, and we don't have the shut off vibrate thing in there, what are they gonna do to us?
nothing.
I mean, honestly, I think that part of it is a little ridiculous. If the attempt was made to put it away and shit, I
I
forgot,
mean, it's already
you know.
gonna be a pain because the teacher's gonna have to send them down here to unlock it, to silence it, to relock it, to go back to class. It's already gonna,
A pain, not for the student though.
well,
It's gonna be a
That's true.
pain for us.
that's true,
I mean, if it goes off, what the law is intending is a disruption during
in
class.
class.
So if it's
From
going
learning.
off, it's a disruption during class. I mean, I'm not saying I agree with it or not, I'm just,
So the only place you can unlock it is down here.
there'll be spots at each door like we talked about in the office.
I wasn't here when you talked about it.
Oh, sorry.
Door thing.
We're putting a magnet at door 1, door 2, and
Door
Sarah. What's over here?
Door 4.
4. 1 and 4, and Sarah will have, there'll be one at the counter, plus she'll have a handheld magnet that they can use to unlock it, like after school or, and the one at door 1 will actually be outside. So if they forget, leave, get home and realize it's locked, they can still come and unlock it.
So like in here, it says that a student may contact the student's parents or authorized caregiver during the school day if needed by using a school telephone made available to the student. So like, do you guys have, do
Yep.
they have to go to the office or do you guys have like a, or like how do they, what do you guys do for that?
They have to go to the office, but had Consolidated come in and we put a phone by the lounge in the hallway. And there's another one down by 12. Well, no, what door is that? 12. 14.
14.
The music room. We put one down there too.
What is the medical provider? Looks like you can get a note from your doctor saying that you need it, what,
Diabetes is one of the main ones where they use their phone to
Okay.
control their blood sugar
okay.
with pumps and there's a school close to us that their clinic is already complaining because parents are coming in and trying to get doctors to sign notes that their students needs to have access to their phone.
So also within the law, last time we talked about this, then they're trying to read this language, including, so they're expecting not to allow a phone back at lunch period, is that correct?
Correct. That's if they stay here for lunch. If they leave for lunch, they can
Oh,
unlock
okay,
it.
so that's,
So then, honest,
where are we getting that interpretation then? Because, I mean, I think this is interesting. They're using the term instructional time to mean the time from the start of the school day until dismissal at the end of the school day on school premise, which is kind of a weird use of terms. I mean, if you just say instructional time, you're thinking instructional time, right? No, they're redefining instructional time, which we certainly know we're not instructing for that full period of time. But so where are we interpreting that it's okay to leave for lunch period and take your phone with you?
because it's on school premise, because they're leaving the school premises.
Okay, so that's how we're interpreting that.
We
Interesting.
did have people at registrations ask, can we just leave our phones in our cars? I said, yeah.
And then they have to leave, grab their phone, and leave school premise to use them.
Well, if their phone's in their car, they won't have to grab it, but
Right, but they
Yeah.
leave school premise in order to.
yeah,
How were parents at registration, like, were they receptive to it, or?
no.
So what we're really gonna have happen here is kids standing on the street, in the trees. Where are we defining what school premise means for where they have to disappear to?
Well, I
Have you been
don't,
by Walmart in Dickinson lately?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think we're getting that far. I mean, if they sit out in the parking lot in their car
Okay.
on their phone, I don't care.
Right,
I mean,
fair
we're
enough.
not gonna have monitors out there.
Did anybody challenge that language? Like, I totally get during instructional time, but truly instructional time.
I asked our representatives to challenge the whole thing,
Right. Well, fair
bring it to the
enough.
school, that's a huge overreach.
Yeah, it's interesting when you get to.
So it says up here, under limitations and allowances, it says school-related activities where students may be allowed limited or full access to personal. That's bus rides, field trips, sporting events, school dances. I would like to change that from may, that they will be allowed, if they're on the bus or they're outside of this building, that they are allowed to have it.
Okay,
Cause at that point, I wanna know where my kid's at, right?
absolutely.
So
Especially if
May,
they
May
leave
is
school, too.
definitely a little bit,
So third violation was okay, fourth violation, same as the third pretty much, except you said 3 days of no activities, or what do we think there?
But, cause I think that should be the last one. Like, we don't need to keep going after that.
No,
That's why I think that, so you go there and then it just is what it is at that point.
we could say like, we could even end it at third, but then make that statement, any subsequent offenses could mean more consequences. And then it's up to the administration, because by that time you could say they're insubordinate or others as well.
I know this whole thing's frustrating, we even have to do this.
I know.
It is frustrating, but it's literally like 6 hours of the day. Like, sometimes I wish someone would take my phone away for 6 hours of the day. Like, I mean, it's literally not that long.
No, I'm just saying that the fact that we should have a policy, but we should be able to make our own policy.
Yeah,
We shouldn't have the state saying we have to make a
Yeah.
policy.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
like $10,000 worth of packets, vouchers.
That we're not getting reimbursed for the state.
right.
We should send them a bill. Can I do that?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm in. Send it to the governor's office. No, it won't go anywhere, but at least like
Make you
the
feel better.
frustration.
And then, Jake, where was that sentence that you were
Could
talking
be
about?
under limited allowances for school-related activities.
I don't think we can change that because it's not.
What page are you on? If you look at the bottom left, part of the whole screen.
What does it tell me?
It's at the bottom of 3.
Oh, bottom of 3. Maybe it does. Be the last sentence, school-related activities where students may be allowed. bus rides.
Oh, okay.
Right there. Change may to will.
So can I ask a question before you change that? Being that, like, coaching, if you change that, is that gonna say that kids sitting on the court can have their phone? Like, if they're in a game and you say they can have it there,
No,
is that gonna,
no.
are kids gonna come back and say, well, it says here that we can have our phones during activities?
Well, I think that's a coach's problem. If the coach
Yeah.
can't figure that out,
I think the policies only regulate bell to bell, right? It's not
Right.
after school activities or sports or athletics
Right,
or anything
right.
like that, it's just instructional
So
time.
then do you need it at all?
well, I
It's a
mean, you
school-related
still,
activities,
you still
and
have
sports are school-related
sports
activities,
during-
that's why I just wanna
Right.
clarify.
Like if they leave during the school day,
Right.
but
Well,
games and stuff like that, I don't mean,
But that's not instructional time. So they're leaving instructional time, we're letting them out of instructional time.
a bus ride might be if you're going on a
Except
field
for a
trip
field
or
trip.
something like that.
That's instructional time.
Does it say that?
Let's say like,
Well, because instructional time, according to this policy, is all about this definition of instructional time. It's not what you think in your head is instructional time, right?
Otherwise
So
lunchtime
I
wouldn't
don't
be in
think,
there.
did it say? No, well, unstructured learning experience. What is that? But, no.
So that'd be your field trip.
Well, we kept May because field trips, there may be some, I'm thinking elementary teachers who don't want their kids on their phone during a field trip.
I think what I'm hearing Mrs. Adamson ask is why change away from May? What are we concerned about there too? Will.
May to me means it's up to whoever decides.
Yeah.
Who does decide?
Well, the administration. I mean, that's really, you bake this policy down to what's really gonna have happen, and it's still administration and delegation of that authority from the administration to teachers, paras, whatever it might be, is ultimately still making the judgment call, which is really why we've effectively made a law that changes nothing, because that's still outside of this, asking each school to move down to, like, we could have done the pouch and that by ourselves, but the decisional factor of the May or anything else in this is still, yeah, we're providing guidance to the administration that the board approves, but still up to the administration.
so what if we took out sporting events and school dances and left the rest of it? Because field trips is on there, bus rides counting for field trips,
Mhm.
and then other activities where students are under the supervision of the school, on or off school,
And
which
then
covers field
change the word
trips.
to can, so my fourth graders can have their phones while
May.
we're traveling
No, you leave it at
around.
May at that
You
point,
leave it at
because then
May.
you're,
Oh, leave it at
you're
May, okay.
removing
So
sporting
you're
events
saying
and school
the
dances.
ones that we struggle with, the schools dances and,
But my thing is, when my kids are going to Bismarck or wherever on a field trip, I can tell you that I would rather be able to contact my child if they get fucking lost or whatever it is.
Well, but at that
Because-
point, I don't think they're in the pouches, right? Because you're not
I don't know.
bringing a magnet with a pouch, are you?
No.
I mean, they're leaving school property at that point, so
Right.
are they unlocked
So-
or aren't they?
I don't think you're bringing the pouches with you at that point.
I would say they would be unlocked, yeah, and elementary students for sure don't have pouches, so they have a cabinet that the teacher has, so.
Like, I have no problem with bus rides, I feel like it makes the time go faster, kids should have it, cause then they're not, like, as long as it's appropriate, I just wanna be able to tell, as a teacher, I wanna be able to tell my fourth graders, your phone needs to stay on the bus while we're getting off and learning about history, or whatever it happens to be, I wanna have that control, if you put can there, I'm just curious if I have the control to say the phone stays on the bus. That's what I wanna make sure, cause if a parent comes back and says, well, it says they can have this, and you said they couldn't, that's where I'm concerned.
Yeah, and I'll voice that if we're on the record that, yes, you do have that authority from my say as a board member anyway, and that is actually one of the biggest things I don't like about it, this, to John's point of taking it away from the board's power, to me, even taking it away from the teacher's power. We should be empowering our teachers to, that's the ultimate, oh, my teacher does have this authority for all the above, so absolutely, I would say that we don't wanna have any language that limits the authority of the teacher.
So keep it may remove sporting events and school dances.
As long as the understanding is they're not gonna be locked in the pouch while they're going on these field trips. You know what I mean?
Right.
The only other argument that could be said here that is a challenge is we can sit here today and agree upon this, and who knows what happens with the law in the future, but we've adopted this policy. One of the primary concerns I have over this policy is equity of application of it. I'm not sure how we as a board, now that we're involved in this, or the administration handles the discussions of like, oh, well, so-and-so, I saw him in the bathroom using theirs, right? And those accusations, but it will erode the effectiveness of this if it's inappropriately applied, unequitable across different students, and certainly in a small town that gets very challenging. So I'm not sure how to change, but that could be a point of where, how do we clean up that language to,
It's under that employee enforcement provisions
okay,
on page 5.
okay,
Employee expectations and discipline measures. District requires strict compliance with state law and this policy by school employees. Any employee who knowingly allows students to access and use personal electronic communication devices that do not fall under a policy exemption during instruction time in violation of this policy while under the employee's supervision may be subject to discipline up to and including termination.
right, and I don't know if that addresses what I'm thinking of there, is more of the accusation, you know,
Another student sees another student in the bathroom with their phone.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
I mean, that's anything for that matter, unless
Right.
somebody sees it.
Right.
That's, I mean, you can
I just think
say
this
whatever you
becomes
want.
a heightened, yeah,
Yeah.
just because of the attention around this, and I think it's more of just something that I think our professionals need to be well aware of, and we gotta be really direct about
Yeah.
how we're gonna deal with these things and
Yeah.
enforce them, run those scenarios, yeah, it's just challenging.
Letter C there kind of talks about that too, is that upon receipt of a report of an alleged policy violation, administration must investigate and make a determination as to whether the student has committed infraction. So if they can't tell, then there's no infraction. If you have proof, then you have an infraction.
Fair enough.
Okay, another section that is in bold is page 6, letter G. Employee use of personal electronic communication devices, so these are the district employees. Employees are also expected to follow acceptable use of technology and professional code of conduct policies when using their own personal electronic communication devices during instructional time. The bold part is, do we want that or do we not want that? And it's saying that employees cannot use their personal electronic devices for non-education related purposes. So if they're gonna use it for personal purposes, they can't.
And this was not in the law, if I'm understanding you right, this was
Yeah, it's up to the district.
inserted. You have any idea why that was even recommended then? Yeah,
No,
I don't like it. I don't like micromanaging and everything that goes along with it, so.
too much of that to teachers, in my opinion.
Right.
Take it out.
I feel like they're adults and
Right.
if there's an issue, you guys will address it.
So I think by doing the violations and infractions, we chose option 2 for the student infractions. So I can delete option 1. Any other changes or anything you've seen?
The only other thing I was contemplating is if there's something where, you know, say there's no infraction in 90 days, you drop down 1 level,
Oh, sure, so you can earn some back.
right?
I like that. 9 months is a long time.
Right.
So we can put that under infractions.
How do we think?
I think it's a learning experience, so anything that we do to teach them that they're gaining something back is a win-win, I think, right?
Because then they have an incentive to also,
Do good.
right,
And if you make a mistake, you're not automatically a 2 or 3.
right.
Running late.
Does 90 days
getting
sound
fouls.
good, or should it be, I was trying to think of a decent number. And I would say calendar days, not school days.
Yeah.
I don't wanna math that out. We had a snow day.
Who's gonna keep track of that, or how do they keep track of that?
I mean, I'm sure you're gonna keep track of what level each kid's
We
on.
log it
We
into
log it all in PowerSchool.
our school.
And it tells us the date that we log it, and the teachers log it.
And I mean, I would say for every 90 days, not just only one time, like it could happen.
Right.
Multiple levels could fall off.
If the student does not have a subsequent violation within 90 calendar days, they will be moved down to the next lowest level. Or next lowest violation.
And I don't know, what do you think of a grace period for the start of school? Because you're gonna have kids that aren't gonna remember to do that.
I don't think that would have to be in the policy, we can just do a grace
Well, then
period.
we need to decide as a whole what it is, so
Right.
it's not,
Right,
I think it should be 1 week, I think it should be 3 weeks, we should
yeah,
have direction. You guys can decide that, but I think there should be something, because it's not gonna be easy right away.
how long do you think? How many fourth graders have
routine
phones?
going?
What was that?
How long is it gonna take to get the routine established? That's what it's gonna take,
It takes 21 days to build a new routine.
21 days?
At least that's what they say when you exercise.
You ever tested it?
A month?
So the first month is a grace period?
I mean, this is a pretty hard thing when they're used to having their phone all the time.
Right.
It's pretty. It is a big change. Do you think a month is too long?
Nope, it's fine. Works for me.
I was gonna say, I think we could easily say like October 1, like you have until the 1st of October to, so that we're like on a date, you know what I mean? Or September,
And-
whatever,
Is
so that
October 1 a school day?
I don't know if that matters.
it's a calendar
Even if it's
day.
not, who cares? It's not
Well,
a
yeah.
school day, it's not a school day.
Yeah,
So that would, they still have to lock them first hour when they get to class with their first hour teachers when the bell rings, right? So it would really be if they're buzzing or making,
or if they're seen.
or if the what, or if they're
Seen.
seen, yes.
Anything else with the policy?
I guess Just a question, what do we intend to, or is the state gonna prescribe some method of gathering the data and documentation of measuring the impact of the policy?
The superintendent of public instruction, whoever that will be, is supposed to provide the legislature with a report in the next biennium.
But how do we, because
They'll,
the district shall must collect data and,
yeah, so they'll tell us what data they need, and
okay.
the State Department will.
Cause I'm assuming you're gonna have all your stuff logged,
Right.
what
Right.
level every kid is and whatever anyway, so.
Oh, so it's still just performance impact of state testing or that we intend to use for that data, or are they?
I don't know if they've even decided that yet. I think it's supposed to be pretty much everything. Student behavior, student
Bullying and harassment online.
bullying and harassment,
Because
student
that's reported.
achievement. So I'm not sure
So-
what DPI is gonna ask us to report.
I mean, the language that I'm reading, that in accordance with state law, the district must collect data annually with a goal of measuring the impact of this policy on student behavior, mental health, disciplinary incidents, school attendance, and academic performance. So is the intent of that statement is just saying that we're gonna use the existing data that we already have to measure this? Or
I
are they
suppose.
asking for some additional data somehow that we don't even have a baseline on? Yeah, we're not sure on that. then,
No.
Just no clarity, okay,
No.
fair enough. Yeah.
That was part of the law, but they didn't say how or what data
Or how
they
you even
use.
form a baseline or, okay,
No.
yeah, interesting, okay.
So we're now down into the searches of personal technology.
Yep,
Is this something that we have a different policy already on, or?
it used
Seems to
to,
me like,
it used to be called, what is it, technology agreement.
okay,
Everybody had to sign, staff and students.
okay,
It wasn't in there, but now it's pulled out of there and it's a separate deal.
So now it doesn't cover the teachers?
The acceptable use policy is still there. So we still have that, and that's more dealing with what you're allowed to do on school computers and school-owned devices. So this is more of what happens on your personal devices. I know when Dr. Vogel took a course through the pouch company, and they're saying you could do, what did they call
I
it?
didn't say you could,
Pop inspections.
random, yeah.
like, how does that even look, what do you mean,
Like Dr. Vogel would go
just
into
go
a
into different
classroom and
rooms and
pull out your pouches. Is your phone in there?
I thought our
oh,
policy was
that.
that as long as it wasn't seen, it wasn't
That's,
a problem.
we're not gonna
It
do
is.
that.
I asked.
right, but the
You
policy.
can probably see it on my face, like this is gonna be my day as random searches, are you kidding me?
So just random search to see if the phone's in the pouch.
Yeah,
But this policy here is talking about content on the phone.
Yeah.
And it's almost a cart horse piece, because how do you know if the device contains evidence of conduct or activity that may constitute a violation if you haven't looked at the content? And this is a policy around if you have permission to look at the content on the phone. It's-
this would be if somebody, a student was being bullied by somebody, and
Okay,
they bring us their phone with the content that
right,
shows that this person
Okay.
said this.
fair. So this is really a policy that doesn't even belong in
Well, the main thing is,
relation to.
did they do that during instructional time?
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Or did it happen outside of school?
And now the language doesn't really speak to that. As it goes into inappropriate photos, which, I mean, all good stuff, I just don't understand how this is related to the. There's another piece that I think that School Board Association put in that is not related to law, that in my mind just doesn't even need to be there because it creates confusion. And I certainly don't like duplicate, if we have this already in acceptable use policy, I don't like the idea of a duplicate policy that has conflicting or who knows, potential.
Well, we don't have, acceptable use policy doesn't pertain to personal devices. Where this is
We
about their
don't
own,
have an acceptable use policy on personal devices at all.
I think
It's just for school devices.
school-owned
Oh.
devices,
Oh,
There's never been a cell phone policy in place, has there?
no. There, we had administrative regulations where if it's pretty much up to the teacher.
It was up to the
Sure.
teacher.
If the teacher didn't want them to use their phone, they would tell them, and if they still use their phone, then they would face consequences.
Does your staff have to sign a like cell phone policy for themselves?
They have to sign an acceptable use policy, but not for their personal devices. I guess that's where this would come in if you wanted that.
I was just
Block
curious,
it.
we have to, that's why I was.
have we ever, this is an interesting one then, have we ever gotten opinions from anybody other than school board? So, I mean, not that we have their full opinion here, but is it even any of our business or the school's place to be involved of what's on a personal device? Seems to me like that's
The only
what
time
law
it's-
enforcement is for.
Well, and that's what we use our resource officer for.
Sure,
The only time it's our business if the event happened at school.
okay.
So are you expecting, so Johnny says he saw somebody in the bathroom using a cell phone, are you guys expecting to get on whoever he accused, his phone and scroll through it and see if he was actually using it?
No, we would just ask him if he was using it and if there's anybody else that witnessed it. I mean,
It's always gotta be John.
we're not gonna.
Johnny's always up to something.
It's,
Right up there with Judas. Just
Yeah, when
don't
you
name
do
a kid
the-
that anymore.
he said, or whatever, it's a no-win. If you don't have any other changes, then we would need a vote to accept.
The
And
only thing that I wouldn't mind is the device contains evidence or conduct of activity that may constitute a violation. So you're opening up somebody's phone. Is it unreasonable to have their parents there?
I don't
Because
think
I feel
you
like-
can't open anybody's
don't
phone,
know.
that's unlawful
Well-
search and seizure,
yeah,
that's against the law.
yeah. If it was to
Unless
that
there's
point, we
reasonable
would,
suspicion.
yeah.
It goes straight to law enforcement.
If it was that-
there's something.
Yeah, if it was to that point, we would call our resource officer and they would take it over.
Because it says right here, the administration is authorized to search the device
Yeah,
when there's reasonable suspicion. So I think that's a little overreach on my.
yeah, we wouldn't do that. Our lawyer would tell us not to do
So
that.
can you take that out?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind taking that whole piece out of this, cause it's not in the law. I think I'd wanna
I mean, I
understand
got
a
no problem
lot
coming
more
in
of
and, you know, open up my kid's phone with me, but
Right.
I feel like it's just, you're getting into a little bit of overreach.
What page is that on?
8. It's near the bottom.
I get the intent of all this stuff, the intent can get pushed away and it can go down a rabbit hole at some point. If somebody gets on, I don't know, if they get going on something, I guess, I don't care for it.
Do you wanna get rid of that last thing completely, or do you wanna say administration is authorized to search the device with parent present when there is reasonable
I don't even
suspicion?
think, no, because honestly, I'm gonna tell you no, just because I don't think you should.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Well.
It's not your
Yeah,
job
yeah.
to do it.
Let me take
I'm
a
not-
breath.
I mean,
I don't want to.
quite frankly, it's not your job to do
No,
it.
it's
No.
not. And
But
if it's
reading
that
the way
big
that
of
it's
a-
written, I feel like I can.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Like the
that's
way
what
that
I'm
it's
getting
written
at.
right
Take it
now,
out.
if somebody comes and says, hey, look at my phone, so-and-so sent me these messages, this tells me I can look at that other student's phone.
right.
Oh, well,
Well, okay,
when
but
they
if somebody
come to
walks
me-
up to
when
you
they come
and
to me
says,
and they
here's
say,
my
No,
phone.
but I'm
It's
saying,
different.
reading this, like if they show me, but it's from another student, This tells me I should have
So if
access
Jake
to.
comes up with his phone and says, look what little Johnny did,
I would have access to Johnny's phone to
Yeah.
see, like, that's how I read it.
should have did that.
I did.
You were the good guy. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't wanna look at it either. So I would also like it taken out.
Well, I mean, I think this needs a little more thought put into it than just, I don't know, do you know anything more about how the School Board Association came up with this, or how this
Nope.
even got in here? Yeah,
They went by the law and tried to figure it out.
just kind of threw.
I would like
yeah.
it very similar to our already search and seizure, which is drugs, alcohol, whatever, unsafe objects, knives, whatever. And that when it comes to phones, other than a student coming and saying, I'm getting bullied, here's this, what's going on, and I start
Sure.
investigating just that with conversations with students. Parents get called anyways, law enforcement is the only one that should access their phone with parents.
Yeah,
So,
I don't see any reason.
I would rather that mimic the same.
Strike that all out.
Yeah, I'd pull it up.
And then, anything on, whether or not the district shall also develop and implement electronic communication device education programs for students and staff, professional development activities. Is that something we already do anyway, or?
We have done information about the proper use of phones and don't take pictures and share them with your house number behind you
Okay.
and that sort of things. I
Stark
know
County comes in.
Stark County is coming in and doing some more training on that with staff and students. This year, they did a couple classes last year.
And they went into some classrooms.
So, that's not an ad or a lift or anything that's any different, is what you're telling me? Okay, good. No.
So going back to searches of personal technology, I don't know if we can get rid of that whole section. I think we can change it though to be that the administration not is authorized to search, but the administration can contact law enforcement when there is reasonable suspicion of the following. Something like that, instead of that the administration is gonna search.
What are you concerned with striking it out?
Cause it has the NDCC in that third paragraph.
Well, by striking it out, it doesn't mean that we're gonna necessarily violate the Century Code 12.17. That's really even unrelated in my mind. What is 12.127.13? I imagine that has to do with laws around,
Searches and seizures, I'm sure.
is it search and seizure, or is it around electronic communication of?
Or child pornography or
Right.
items like that.
Well, that's the hard part about
But it's also important to know that staff don't have them text those pictures to the staff member or
right.
anything like that to save it. I mean, so I think that needs to be in here, but we just need to change that, we're not gonna search. If that makes sense.
So you're not fine with just striking number 1 on there? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think he's talking about the part where it says administration is authorized
To search,
to search.
changing that but leaving the rest, instead of deleting that whole section.
I'm fine with wording it that law enforcement will be contacted.
Because it also does talk about school-owned and approved devices, which could be a different scenario than a personal device. Like it's all lumped together in there.
Right.
And we have had to search our school devices.
We own them, right?
Yeah. We've had to, for the fact that someone stole the credit card and was buying from Amazon online during the day. Someone else's credit card, or, you know, things like that. It's the only way we can catch it.
So in that situation, we even spend our time, or do we just turn that over to law enforcement?
On our devices, we search them.
Okay.
on school devices. Yeah. But if you search it and you find sexually explicit material or anything, then it goes to law enforcement.
Well, sounds like you guys have talked through a lot of this already.
You guys have any other questions regarding the policy?
That's what our plan is on this last piece of it. If we're striking it or how we're gonna change it.
Well, I think he was wording it, you want to just read what you put?
Well, I didn't put it yet.
Oh, I thought you were typing, sorry.
Yeah. Administration is authorized to, I don't know, inform isn't really the right word, to report any reasonable suspicion of the following to law enforcement. And when it says authorized, it doesn't mean we have to. We just can if we feel there's a need.
Then you still need to have a statement about our own devices, or do we just leave that in our own device
Well, I think your own device is already listed.
Yeah.
separate? Okay.
Yeah.
Then we're fine.
You just put administration is authorized to contact law enforcement when there is reasonable suspicion of the following.
Yep.
Because this is a search of personal technology, not school technology.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering, because the first sentence says, if a student is using a school-owned or approved device, a personal device on a limited or allowed basis, or like it lumps them all together.
Oh,
Like if it's under personal technology, but we're still talking about school-owned devices.
Well, I think the
But
way
if
he
it's
wants,
talking about both of them and it's just those two things, then isn't that kind of like, because isn't that saying like if you're gonna contact them, if you find that on your device too?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
like,
I think the way you worded it is fine, will be fine for this, that
yeah.
we're not gonna search it, we'll let law enforcement do their job.
Or
Right, I mean, kind of the long and short of it.
yeah, or we could just get rid of the school-owned. If a student is using an approved device, a personal device on a limited or allowed basis, or a personal device that falls under, then we would authorize law enforcement. And then that way, without school-owned in there, that would fall under our other policy with school-owned devices.
Yeah, you can pull that up. Anyone got anything else on that policy? Is everybody comfortable with it?
It's comfortable.
To, I mean, as much as we can.
Okay,
So we need a motion on it, or?
yep, and you have to, in your motion, you have to say through policy BDA, you can adopt this policy in one reading.
I make a motion that through policy BDA, we accept policy FFI, personal electronic communication devices, prohibition during instructional time as reviewed in today's meeting.
Okay, we have a motion, is there a second?
second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Need a break?
You need a break. Next is the public participant at board meetings.
Public comment, The optional are the rules that we can change. So the beginning says, gives individual members of the public the opportunity to provide comment during the meeting. We put that right after the acceptance of the agenda. The only thing we need to decide on are 1 through 7 and then A, B, and C. When we had discussed this in July, we talked about the speaker limited to 15 minutes. We talked about that it has to be given a week before. So if that's something that we want, we can put that in there. The other one is number 3, that kind of goes along with it. The comment is limited by agenda topic to the agendas of the current and at least one preceding board meeting. And when Jesse and I were talking, we thought maybe at least two preceding board meetings instead of one.
What, however, what exactly does that mean? Does it mean that, or does that imply then that if somebody wants to participate in public comment on a new item that hasn't ever been talked about, they need to ask to put that on the agenda?
Yes.
Is that,
Yeah.
why don't we just say that?
I don't know.
So I haven't been part of the school board for a long time. Do we ever have parents come and address school issues or anything like that?
Not since I've been on.
Yeah, some districts do every once in a while. Some, like Bismarck, for example, every meeting, they have people in there that are mad or happy about something. So it really depends upon the district.
I've always wondered why though, because what they'll do is they'll call you. And then at least if I was always bothered that we didn't have a defined public comment period. Because we did not tell the public how they do correctly come address the board. And so therefore, they find their own ways. And it's usually letters, texting you, calling you, which is just not good. So that'd be my input on that. I'd really like us to have this policy in place, and it puts the administration in a better spot too to say, look, if you have that concern, you can address the board by these steps. It's the whole point of any of these policies is to not just make it up on the fly and have, just whatever happening, so.
I think the thing we need to look at too though is how much time for public comment, the whole period itself. If you're giving somebody 15 minutes.
Does somebody need 15 minutes? Because if we're not like really necessarily engaging with them, like 15 minutes is kind of a long time for, I mean, I feel like most people could maybe get their point across in less than 15 minutes.
What the county did, we did 3 minutes to make your comment, and then you get another, I mean, we can discuss it after that, so they get their 3 minute statement to start with, and then we can either choose to talk to them back, or their 3 minutes is done and they're gone, and then we did 15 minutes total time for public comment.
The only problem with 15 minutes of total time is if something big enough happens, that's 5 people.
Mm-hmm. But they're all, at that point, most likely saying the same thing. If something big happens, they're most likely all gonna have the same argument.
Right.
I mean, we want to give people enough time so that they feel like they're welcome and stuff, but
Right. I don't want anybody to feel like they're not heard.
yeah.
Yeah, 15 minutes is a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would think 5 should be more than enough per person.
I would do 5 per minute per speaker, but also like per group. We see it at the city commission where people come in and they're really with the same group and they just get up and spout the same thing over and over.
But
I think that might be tough to not violate open meeting laws if you don't allow individual.
But you can put a cap on the time.
Correct. Yes.
And you said, what do you do at the county?
County is 3 minutes per person and then 15 minutes total, regardless of how many people wanna talk.
So if we did 5 minutes and a half an hour,
That should be
It should be
more than
sufficient.
enough time, I would think. Yeah, one thing we did have in there was that you can't give your time to somebody else too. So like you can't,
Yield your time.
yeah, you can't yield your time to somebody else.
Thirty minutes for number one. Five minutes for number two.
And the thing with this too is if they choose to get on the agenda, there's no time limit if they go
Right.
ahead and get on the agenda, they can talk as long as they want on whatever subject they wanna talk on.
Right.
So then they don't have to talk on the agenda. I
It
mean,
wouldn't be during the public comment. It'd be its own separate
Its own
agenda.
agenda
other
item.
than-
I see what you're saying.
okay, so you don't actually have to be on the agenda to have public comment.
No.
Okay.
Yep.
But it has to be a topic that's either already on the agenda or that has been discussed at the
Yeah.
past board meetings, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing, if you're gonna come talk about something that we're talking about, you know,
Yeah,
make it pertinent.
So number three, do you want current agenda and one past? Or current agenda and two?
I think 2 is plenty of time, because if somebody can't come to one, that they could make another one. 2 is plenty of time.
Pertinent to the school district. 5, comment may not interfere with the orderly conduct of regular board meetings. 6, public comment may not be defamatory, abusive, harassing, or unlawful. 7, public comment may be prohibited if A, B, or C.
so if it does get abusive or harassing, unlawful, like, are we allowed to be like, okay, you're done?
Yes.
Right.
Yep, that's
Yep.
really,
I don't mind the idea of not being able to pass your time to somebody else. So if you put that in,
You
as
just put
like 7, and
time.
then did 7, then, or then did 8, and then 8, A, B, C,
yeah, just,
you know what I'm saying?
I think that belongs in number 2 times.
I would just add it to 2, I
15
think.
minutes.
Oh.
yeah.
Time may
Okay.
not be yielded to
Okay.
Yeah, here's
other
that's
speakers.
an individual may not yield their allotted time to another individual.
Right.
One other thing we had in there, individuals are unable or unwilling to speak in person, they may submit written comments prior.
Well, and that goes to, there's a deal in here, public comment may be prohibited if an alternative procedure exists to bring a particular type of public comment before the public entity. And I wouldn't mind allowing some form of that, some sort of a written to the president type thing that for consideration of the board. It just, again, speaks to more of the open meeting and the open format that, we're welcoming public comment, because some people just will rather hold it in and complain at the grocery store instead of bringing it to our attention where we can do something about it.
I don't think
So-
this is gonna change anything anyway, I don't think there's really gonna be more people that come or
Well,
don't
fair
come
enough,
because
but
of it, you know what I mean?
Intent is that our board is seen as open and
Oh, no, I 100% agree.
receptive.
Yeah. No, I agree with you, I don't foresee it being any different than our meetings are now, as far as attendance wise. Unless there's something big that happens.
But to that point, do we wanna consider some alternative method of receiving public comment? I mean, I'd rather have control of it instead of the few times we've received to all board members on.
Well, if it's an anonymous letter, I'm not gonna read it at a meeting.
Why not?
What's the validity behind it?
Yeah.
If you can't tell me who you are and why you're writing a letter, why you don't even deserve a response back, in my opinion.
Fair opinion, I think it just speaks to, again, being an open board, open to
I don't know,
public comment. And certainly, the other parts of this policy exist if the letter has rude, accusatory, language that has, calls out one particular person that could put us in a bad spot there for defamation,
Because the problem with a letter that's not, doesn't have a name or anything behind it is you can say whatever you want in it.
Sure.
And you can't then ask that person to help address the problem. Because so we read the letter at a meeting, and then what? I mean,
We do whatever we want to, right?
right, I just don't see, if it's not addressed and it's, or has somebody's name on it.
And, I mean, that can be certainly in our policy, that letters that are not signed
Right.
will not be, we can do that, I would say against it.
I don't know is a letter though actual public comment? I mean,
So-
we're talking about giving time for the public to come and state their opinions or grievances. So a letter to me isn't part of public comment. It's communication. But I don't know if public comment is the time where we would read a letter, I guess. Because then you're taking that time away from somebody who might be here in person.
Unless somebody specifically said this is for public comment and I'm unable to make the meeting.
Right.
That part of it, I guess I can see.
Well, I mean, in raw definition in my mind, it's certainly public comment, it's a comment from somebody within the public, so. I don't know whether we want to do something like that or not, is.
Well, I think they have that option now.
Yeah, fair enough.
So then any anonymous letter I've had is defamatory, abusive, harassing.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
The other thing is it can come from our district.
Right.
Right,
It
yeah,
could be from outside of our district where it has no grounds anyhow.
yeah. How about that last bold paragraph? Groups are urged to designate a spokesperson.
I'm assuming that is meaning a true organized group, like the PTA. Right.
Yeah.
Which, in that case, yeah, I'm fine with that. I don't think we should apply it in the terms of, we've determined that you all have the same point and therefore you're a group, so designate one person.
I think the
Unless
main
that's the
thing
way that's
is,
interpreted.
like Jake was saying earlier, and Dave, I think, main thing is that we don't hear the same talking point over and over.
I don't meetings, like city meetings that I've been at, when somebody says something and somebody's gonna say the same thing. Usually they just say,
Ditto.
previous person already covered everything I had to say.
Yeah.
Were we gonna put something on there, maybe I missed it, but were we gonna put something on there where they were supposed to weren't they supposed to say something, like let you know a week prior, or wasn't it something like that, didn't we talk about that?
Up here in that first paragraph, regular board meetings, it talks about that they have to provide the governing body in writing the individual's name and address. The address is exempt, but it's kept. And then it talks about that it has to be on the agenda below, but it didn't say a time. So I don't know if we wanna put a time limit, or do we go, if somebody board meetings at 7, somebody comes at 6:30 and say, hey, I wanna come and speak. They fill out a form saying, here's my name and address, and we allow them to speak that night. I just think having them a week out, I don't know if that's.
Well, I think that is implied, cause if you're familiar with all this stuff, right? So open meeting laws, we are supposed to post the agenda a week before the meeting, right? So then I think that week time period is implied by what we have here But again, that whole piece, I think we should reauthor it because it just doesn't say it. I mean, why we can't use simple language in this that you don't have to consult your lawyer to just, you know, any member of the community is welcome to, you know, participate in the public comment. The board asks that member notify a week in advance the, whatever it is, the superintendent, the president of the board, or both, or either that they want to put on the agenda for that public comment period. All of this language that's so ambiguous is frustrating.
It's uninviting.
That's just it, I don't think we need the week ahead, if somebody wants to, gets up that morning, decides they wanna come make a public comment here for 5 minutes at our school board meeting, they should sure come in.
But as far as getting on the agenda,
To get on the agenda,
That's different.
that's different.
different,
Yeah.
right? The
But if they
public-
wanna
but
come
that
for the
doesn't-
public comment
yeah.
section to talk about
doesn't-
something that they saw on the agenda,
Right,
let them come, you
Yeah.
know? We don't
I
need to
agree.
have that notification a week ahead of time.
right, I agree.
Yeah, that's what we talked about last time.
Yeah.
That's why.
So just show up is what you're
Just
saying.
show up
Yeah.
and you can talk, that's what the public comment session
Sure.
is for.
Well, then we'd be striking out 3 where the public comment, well, no, you're saying that the topic has to be part
On the
of,
current agenda or previous 2 agendas.
Right.
Yeah.
but then to my prior point, so then if that number 3 stays in there, then someone can't just show up, cause we can tell them, well, sorry, that wasn't on the agenda.
But the agenda is posted on the school website before the night of the
Correct.
meeting,
So
so
that
I
goes
mean,
back
they
to,
can
if they
look,
wanna talk about something else not on the agenda, then they need to get on the agenda a week before.
So which is it? You just said one?
Well, it's two
Show up
different
if
things.
you
Two
want
different
to, or-
things.
It's 2 different things, there's an agenda item, and then there's a public comment session. The public comment session is open for people to talk about what's on the agenda.
Okay, I get that.
If you have
What?
something that's not on the agenda you choose you wanna talk about, that's a week before, and you gotta call ahead and get on the agenda with that topic.
Okay, I get what your intent is there, but this policy is around public comment, right?
Yep.
So therefore, we should not be addressing in this, and it shouldn't even be a discussion of if you want on the agenda item. This is specific to the public comment period.
Yes,
So if we want our public comment period to be open, then we don't want language in there saying public comment is limited by agenda topic.
yes,
Oh.
you do.
Tell me why.
Because otherwise they're gonna come and talk about something that's not on the agenda or
Correct.
prior to agendas.
Yeah, that's, which one do we want?
Both. If they wanna talk about something that's not on the agenda.
Right.
Then they need to get in touch with him a week before the meeting to get on the agenda to talk about that. If you wanna talk about something that's on the agenda, just show up.
Was that what you meant when you said if you wake up that morning and you want to talk at the public comment period?
Mhm.
So it has to be about an
But
agenda
what we're
topic?
gonna already be talking about, yeah,
Or the prior to meeting.
yeah.
Right.
And it doesn't matter to me either way, if you wanna take out the agenda item, that's fine too, because I don't see it being an issue for
I
us.
don't either, but
Yeah, I just don't see the reason to complicate all that. If you wanna come talk during the public comment period,
Just have it open for everything, is what you're thinking?
what's that?
Just have it open
Yeah.
for everything.
That's the original intent of open meeting laws.
I disagree with that.
You don't think so?
You have an agenda for a reason. I mean, we don't wanna be here all night either.
Yeah, fair enough.
Because
We've
people
already
are bringing
limited-
up all different things and then we don't even have time to talk about what was on the agenda.
No, fair. But we've already limited that right here. We're talking about the public comment period. If we put on there a limit of 30 minutes, we talked about, right? And that each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. We've already controlled that portion, right?
But what happens if you get a bunch of people that don't wanna talk about anything on the agenda, and then you get people that actually do wanna talk about something on the agenda?
we're gonna have to have a lot of special meetings then.
Right, but
Look at her.
Again.
Oh, God.
again, it's answered, at least within the policy, because to the point that's been said over and over, if it's something you want on the agenda for the regular meeting, that is separate of the public comment period. This policy, we're just talking about the public comment period.
Right.
And so the discussion of, well, we're gonna be here forever, this and that, we We haven't put, no, we've put time controls on it.
You're saying two
But-
things contradicting yourself.
And again, if somebody comes in and asks the board member to get added to the agenda, they can get added at the beginning of the meeting to the agenda also.
Correct.
Because every board member has the right to add an agenda item at the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you can always go that route too. So
And
there's,
that's the
there's
other
always
thing.
options to talk.
And that's the other thing, if they're not talking about something that's on here and they're not on the agenda, we're gonna either have to put them on the next agenda or have another special meeting, because
No, you can add
depending
them
on,
to this one depending on,
yeah, if they asked to be added a week before, right?
so they can do it that day. So if
Or that day,
So
we're saying now,
somebody shows up in the audience and asks one of us board members to add it to the agenda that night at 7 o'clock when we started that meeting, we can add it to the agenda if we want to. There's lots of options to get on the agenda and talk about stuff.
Yeah, to get
so
on the
then that
agenda.
week
Where we're
prior
just
thing
talking
is just
about,
like gone? That's the deal?
Well, week prior, you get authorized a week prior, you kind of have to let them at that point. Where if somebody, talks to you, say something happens between the week prior and now, the meeting, that's big enough that warrants allowing somebody to talk, and he agrees with them, and another person seconds his motion of that, and then that allows them to talk. You're adding that to the agenda. So we're not limiting ourselves to saying, oh, we have to follow the agenda. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
but again, I'm pretty sure none of that applies to this. This is just simply talking about that public comment period.
Yes.
So the asking to be on the agenda at the regular meeting or writing in to be put on the agenda is not pertinent to this.
Correct.
Right. So again, why the confusion of even having, or if we want that, I don't even like the word agenda on this because it creates that confusion. And the real question is, do we want for our public comment period I believe what you meant, Mr. Ziegler, by a time frame is a prior notification that you want put on the public comment period. Is that correct?
No, I don't care if there's prior notification. The thing is, if you want, during that public comment, you want something that you know about, that you've already discussed. You don't want something fresh off, because what are you gonna do with that?
You're just gonna listen.
And then what?
But that's what I'm
Just listen.
saying, like, are we gonna have to have a bunch of special meetings then, because all these people are bringing up new things, where if we talk about it ahead of time, I don't know.
Whereas
Like, it
if
just
you,
seems like-
if they come in and have an agenda item, then you can discuss it.
Yeah,
Yeah, usually when they do.
So if
get
you
added
wanna-
to the agenda item, they've
Here's
got
how
any-
we would have to do it if you wanna do it your way.
I don't have a way.
No, I'm sorry.
suggesting clarification of this language.
So if you wanna do it
not
that
I
way,
have a
sorry, not your way,
Yeah.
but if you wanna do it that way, when the public comment period ends, we stop talking about it altogether.
Yeah.
Us
You
two,
can,
because otherwise
have
we could
to.
go for hours.
yeah, and you can, because this is just a limited to. But all
But
I'm
then we're
saying
not
is that
getting our stuff done that's on the agenda.
that's what I'm saying, like, if they
Oh,
come in and they
absolutely.
talk to us.
Because-
Only if we're here till
comment,
midnight,
and
like,
it's
well,
not on
Oh,
our
the
agenda,
public comment
add it to
period,
the agenda.
why are we even
Just
making
adding it
statements
to
like that?
agendas,
Because
or,
if
like,
we
make it
limit
done
the public
before
comment
the
period to
board
30
meeting,
minutes,
like-
we have that
you still
control
have
over
people
that.
show up to do it. You still have to have somebody.
Okay,
show
so
up
then
to
when
do
that
it.
30
how on
minutes,
earth are
hold
we
on,
here
but
till
when that
midnight?
30 minutes is over, and if anybody on the board wants to keep talking about it, I say, no, we're done. And then no
Yeah.
one else can talk about it.
Right, that's fair enough.
Okay.
But because we've already put that in this discussion, we're deciding that if our limit of public comment period is 30 minutes, that's what it is.
Okay.
Right?
I guess I go back to, nobody likes to be blindsided. So if somebody comes in with something during a public comment and it's off of the agenda, what are you gonna do with that information? Like
You
I
just
said,
listen. Like I
That's,
said.
but that's what I'm asking. So like, what's our plan? Someone comes in, it's nothing that we were planning on talking about, which is fine. But, okay, is our plan gonna be to add it to the agenda that night, or are we gonna make them wait a month?
No,
and
you wouldn't
until-
add anything like that to the agenda. You just simply allow them their 5
Can I
minutes.
just finish
Oh,
my
sorry.
thing, please? Thank you. Okay, so are we gonna add it to the agenda that night? Are we gonna make them wait a month and add it to the next agenda? Are we gonna have a special board meeting in between? Because like, that's what I'm asking. Like, what is our plan? Because I feel like we need to have some sort of thing in place, like, to some extent.
Yeah,
Otherwise, nothing is ever gonna get accomplished, and then that's just gonna make people more mad.
oh, fair enough. I think that the confusion of this is that topic of the agenda, that word agenda is. To add to the agenda is to add to the regular meeting agenda for time during the regular meeting to speak about a particular topic. Which again, this has nothing, this policy should not include that language or have anything to do with that actually being added to the agenda. This is around what do we allow for public comment? And the concern that keeps getting brought up is how much time is this gonna take? We have the limits around it. And honestly, I don't think we should even include the ability to put it on the regular meeting agenda in this public comment period.
Basically, it's people are voicing their opinions or whatever, their problems, their issues, and we're not doing anything other than listening to it for the night, and we can decide to put it on our next agenda if we like.
Yeah, you do with the public comment whatever you want to. So that's the only piece that I would like to change out of this, and like I say, just say it, is to remove that agenda piece on it and simply give true instruction of what we want for someone to, I'm not saying my way on that. If we want to put fences around it, to Mr. Ziegler's point of blindsided, if we want to know the topic that will be talked about in the public comment period, then we ask for that. And it needs to say something like that, and it does say that, but you'd have to really understand. I think somebody reading this would be like, so how in the heck do I actually do this?
And I understand that, and like, you want people to feel that the board is open and they're able to bring their opinions here, but we need to have something of like what our plan is going forward if it's not gonna be anything that we are planning on talking about, because that is gonna be frustrating for people too. Like, okay, I came there, they want me to come talk to them, but now they're not doing anything about it, so now I just wasted my time. So like, there has to be some sort of next step, because I would be really frustrated if I gave up my night, came in here to something to talk about that was important to me, and then, okay, well, next person, and then nothing ever got talked about again with it.
Yeah, and I'd share your concern for sure. I think that's something that we still have the option no matter, or I'll put it this way, I don't think it would be wise for us to put language in this policy that says we will address your concern, right? We certainly, the way this policy is written, it doesn't prevent us from addressing the concern of public comment, and it's certainly something we can do at any meeting, and we probably should by good practice, but yeah, the do nothing or say nothing is never something that's good, but I don't think that this policy limits our ability to do that.
I feel like we should leave it in for this, the current agenda and the previous two agendas, is my thought. Just for the reason that she brought up as well of talking about, doing something about it and not waiting a month or whatever else to address that concern. I would rather if it's a big enough concern to them, I would rather have them go through the channel of either getting on the agenda or reaching out to Russ or the principals or whatever, and then if it needs to go on the agenda, do it that way.
I think that's a more appropriate way to do it, like what you just said, like if it's something new and a big concern, they should be going through the chain of command or coming and talking to a board member or Russ and getting put on the agenda, because then it will get addressed, where this is not limiting but kind of limiting. I don't know if that makes sense.
Do we have anywhere that we've even publicized that process that it takes to get on the board meeting agenda?
I mean, I would assume it's on our website.
Yeah,
It talks about shitting man and
right,
all
yeah.
that.
Assume, or do we know?
I mean, we don't advertise every policy. We put all the policies on the website, but we don't send out a message that,
Fair enough.
hey, look at this policy.
So what do we wanna do?
Leave it. Is there any more past the groups part there?
What's that?
Is there anything past that groups section?
Yep,
Context and remarks.
next one that we have to look at are the options on the bottom. And that kind of goes back to whether we're gonna address their concern or not. Option one, board members and the district administrator may question the speaker or make comments in response to the speaker's remarks. Or option two, the presiding officer or an appropriate member of the administration will answer all pertinent questions verbally or in writing at a later time. There will be no dialogue between the board members and the public at board meetings except to clarify the nature of questions or comments. So it's option one or option two.
I like option one, where they have the option to talk, may means they can, they don't have to though.
Yeah, I do too. And it's not saying that you're gonna act on it, it's just saying that you can ask them questions to help clarify. Anybody want option two? Or should I hit delete?
I'm good to leave.
Okay. And then the next one, optional to add the superintendent to board member discussions. Just discussions, not vote.
On public comment.
Right.
I'm fine with that.
So allowing you to comment and ask questions too.
Correct.
Yeah, that's okay.
Anything else?
Scroll up, so we ended up at 30 minutes, correct?
30 minutes?
5 minutes per speaker.
5 minutes per speaker.
Moving to agenda topics for 2 meetings,
Current plus,
current plus 2, so
so 3 meetings.
3 meetings total. Yep.
Move to approve how it's written
With BDA.
with DVA.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion, a second, is there any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Taylor portable update.
We have sidewalk went in today, decking should be in this weekend. Everything, electrical's done, except I heard air conditioners are an issue.
Yeah, but my room's cold enough for the whole thing.
And then we're still waiting on ETS, which does the door fobs. They're supposed to be coming tonight, and then hopefully again tomorrow. And AVI, them and I are having a disagreement right now. They're trying to push us off to September before they come in, and they're the PA announcer, trying to get the PA connected from the one in the building to the portable. Casey has done all the all the fire alarms wired to the units. We're waiting on the fire inspector to see if we can tie what we have into our existing panel. Our existing panel does need to be replaced. We talked about replacing that last year. So what I told the fire inspector is that let us hook it up to the existing panel for now. And then we can have a plan on, we'll replace the panel, and the next step would be to add the auditory alarm, which is a requirement now for new buildings. So I haven't heard back from her to see if she's approved that or not.
As far as the AVI, is there anybody else that can do it?
I think so, we'll just have to, they're the only company that operates, what's the name of the,
Something hot, car hot or something.
yeah, Carehawk.
Yeah, something.
Yeah, that's the same system we have here as
We
well.
had something different in Taylor and we were
Right.
trying to get all on the same.
Yep.
Yeah,
I remember that.
We had some issues back at the beginning when we did the main building project because the tech came out, he did what he was gonna do, he had issues with the software, and then I didn't hear from him for a long time. And I kept emailing, I tried calling, nobody would call me back, and pretty soon I had an email from some new guy and was like, oh, he's no longer with us, and I was like, okay, but my project isn't done, so like, who's gonna come finish it? And he's like, yeah, you're absolutely right, like, I don't know how that, so that got pushed way back. I mean, they were out the weekend after Memorial Day to start that, and then it got, I mean, he didn't finish that till the end of June, beginning of July, till the main building got done, so it all just got pushed back, and now Russ and I have gone round and round with the lady
and
recently.
I wasn't happy with her today. But the issue is, you can't call your local branch. We have no way to contact our local branch to say, hey, when is the tech coming out? You have to call the national number, they're the ones that do all the service scheduling, and then you can't ever get a hold of them. So, but they're supposed to be coming out, well, I shouldn't say that. The tech is supposed to be giving me a call.
She was trying to schedule around when we didn't have students, but that's either like now or next week, Monday,
Yeah.
Tuesday, and then we're out into mid-September. If they're not gonna come do it on a weekend, we've got kids in the building.
Well, and I told her too, I said, we've been trying to do this since June or July.
Right.
Even when the tech was there the last time, I talked to the tech, well, I can't do anything because it's not on my service. So,
And we did know that because what was approved before was prior to the approval of the board wall.
Right.
So like, we knew that it wasn't in on the original work that we requested. But back when I was dealing with the first person, he was like, yep, when the tech comes out the end of May, he'll look at it. Well, the portable wasn't here to look at, so now it's just been a whole process
but it was
since
here
then.
when
The last time
he
they
was
were,
there.
yeah, and that what, the gentleman I was working with that took over the project was like, yes, I'll have the tech look at it when I come out and get you a quote.
So can you get a hold of that guy?
The last 2 times I've emailed him, I've ended up getting a phone call from
Kim
him, somebody from some higher up
Okay.
in
situation.
Nebraska.
Okay.
So we're dealing with that. But other than that, we should be good for school start.
Are the phones in, consolidated?
Yep.
They're in, but they weren't working
Yeah.
today, so they had to go back and check
They're
on some.
coming on Friday. He was in yesterday and got everything situated. He could not get where he needed to be with the no electricity and all of that stuff yesterday, so we're waxing the upper hallway tomorrow. Consolidated will be back on Friday. Adam has been in communication with them to finish hooking up their stuff.
Whatever happened with the heaters?
We did put, MDU came, they ran 2 lines, so we have 2 meters, one for heat and one for electricity. So then we'll be on the heating rate for the heaters.
It was a big cost difference to do. I mean, cost savings doing it this way in the long run, 'cause it was like $11 a kilowatt
Yeah,
difference or something like that.
yeah. And really the electrician, it wasn't that much to split it, but I can't remember what he had said.
I think he started at 15, but then it came back down a little bit
Yeah.
from there, so.
So that's where that's at. The lawn shed, since we took out the garage, we need a space for the snow blower and the lawnmower. Cause there isn't any space in the school, so we need something that we can use to store those 2 items. So the question is, do we wanna just find a lawn shed, buy it, have it moved here, or do we want somebody to build?
I think it'd probably be cheaper having someone buy one and have it moved in.
I think so.
I know there's like Autorama and Dickinson sells them. There's somewhere across the street from them that sells them. When I was on the park board, we did the archery range and Builder Source or whatever that place is, they did that one for us, so there's lots of options.
Yeah, okay. So we'll look into that and see. It was requested that it has electricity and heat.
What do they need heat for?
Was my question back.
I would prefer that there's
Maybe it insulated, your
Yeah.
costs up there.
Not only that, you have it heated, you're gonna gonna have to put floor drain in it because you're gonna have snow and everything
yeah.
melting off.
They're worried about the snow blower not starting. But
I think if it's not in the wind and everything else, it should be fine.
I think so too.
Something
And
we can have a
electricity should
building
be no
trades
big
class.
deal. Like, I mean, I understand obviously the electricity, sometimes they use it more for like when he cleans the lawnmower off or whatever, and sometimes if we're having to build something, like, but we also have extension cords if we need to run.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of extension cords right now.
Yeah, why is it necessary to run electricity to it too?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Just
We can
because,
plug
I
in
mean,
wherever.
it's really to house the
Right.
lawnmower and the
Right.
snow blower. It's not,
Yeah.
it's not a workshop.
Right.
So,
Okay, anything else with that?
nope,
We'll move on to math curriculum.
okay. Back in 21, the district purchased Reveal Math. And what we found over the last 4 years with Reveal Math is it's so complicated that students don't get it and the teachers aren't utilizing it because the students don't get it. It's missing a lot of the components such as foundational math components, just adding, subtracting, multiplying. It just jumps the kids into, here's your problem, how are you gonna solve it? It's more investigating, and they have to figure out the operations to get the answer. And without a background in those basic foundations, it's almost impossible. I talked to a lot of schools throughout the state. They said, and I talked to a math coordinator from the state as well, and Reveal Math is terrible for elementary age kids is what I was told. And our scores have shown that. Our scores since we've had Reveal Math, they've gone down. When math was, one of Richardton-Taylor's strongest areas. So we talked about, what can we do? The issue is with Reveal Math, it was purchased during COVID money, so they purchased 6 years. And we've used 4. So the other 2 years, then we get a certain amount of consumables every year, and if we need more, that's extra. But we've already paid for those 6 years. But if the teachers aren't using it, they're going out and trying to find different things, and it's a real struggle. We figured maybe we want to go back and just do Saxon Math. So that's what this quote is for, is to go K through 8, Saxon Math. K through 2 is using workbooks and consumables. Grades 3 through 8 are textbook. So once you have the textbook, you have them. It's not something you have to replace. K through 2, you would have to buy consumables then every year for those workbooks. So I guess what we're asking is, can we go ahead and get the Saxon Math and have something consistent that has a scope and sequence that we're gonna use as a district? Lindsay? And wanna give your 2 cents?
Well, I will ask what Jake just asked, because I know like when I first taught here, I know it's Saxon. So he simply asked, is this Common Core, or can we stack the numbers and do what we're supposed to do with them? So from my experience with Saxon is that it's much less Common Core based than any other curriculum even when we go out and search for our own, a lot of it will say Common Core, grade 4. And you still have to search and shuffle through what you're trying to find. I taught out of the old Saxon, so I'm not 100% positive on the new, but from the samples that we looked at, I feel like it's more the old way of doing math, if
I
you
would-
will.
The parents can actually help.
I would agree. It's stacking the numbers, adding your columns. When you multiply, carry over, yeah.
And on kids' books and homework, it shows like it has spiral learning, so you're constantly relearning things that you learned in the past. And you have to hit that multiple times to understand it, right? So, but there's page numbers beside it so that if a parent needs to help a kid, they can go back to that page number and help them go through those steps.
And I do know that the teachers have some concerns about it, the ones that have used it in the past, similar to what Damien has brought up before, like there are concerns, as there are with every curriculum. You're never gonna find something, are we still gonna supplement? In the elementary school, probably, they need hands-on stuff, like they can't just sit down and do lesson 1, here's your worksheet, lesson 2, like that's not how it works. So there are ways to incorporate those things with, like there is in any curriculum. So even through the hesitation back over here, I think it will be okay if they can still bring in some of their own manipulatives and hands-on type things to help them.
Yeah, I mean, that's, to explain my concern to the board, and Saxon Math, I did every problem that Saxon Wing ever put up. It was, and it's a good program. The concern now is the world changes, right? And if you look at North Dakota's current mathematics standards, I thought this was interesting how they broke this out. This was a revision done in when was it? Something like 19 or 20. Well, the date revised now is 24 on these, but it was really just editing of the old ones. But really, they break into 3 different attributes, they call them. Problem solving, then connections, and then reasoning and proof. Saxon is 95% problem solving. Saxon teaches our students how to be calculators, is what it does. And unfortunately, in the world that they're entering, anywhere from 15 to 2 years or 1 year, it's not going to affect seniors much anymore to change for this for 1 year. For 2 to 3 years, you don't need to be a calculator anymore. So I just am concerned that part of what we're doing here with going back to Saxon, I totally get that the former curriculum mistake, let's learn from it, let's move on. Let's not make the same mistake again. But I'm concerned that the other pieces, the connections, the proof and reasoning are just lacking so much in Saxon that I would like to, I think we're being like the disciples, just going back to fishing, because that's all we knew how to do before we learned, right? So I just wonder, Lindsay, I trust that you say, hey, we got some ideas and some methods on that, but that would be my concern. I was myself even, and this is a long time, I hate to say even how long ago, right? I was pretty frustrated when I got to college and I didn't really understand the concepts, how to prove, how to just going through Saxon Math, so.
What are the teachers, like, what is their hold up with not wanting to change to Saxon? Robin, go ahead. Please.
It's great for sedentary learners. But do we want kids to be sedentary learners? Like, we want them to be hands-on. It's skill and drill, which they definitely need. They need the repetition. I'm also concerned about, it's just a lot of worksheets. The worksheets are more usable than what we had in Reveal. Reveal had too many words for first graders, so I only used it for guided practice as I'm introducing a topic. The other concern I have is how I'm going to teach according to standards, because it doesn't even list the standard in the lesson plan. And we have prioritized standards, so that's my other concern.
And you said, Lindsay, that they can use like supplemental things or whatever, like how, if we get this, like how many of them are gonna use this if, like Robin brought up those concerns, like, or are they just still gonna be looking for their own thing? Like, I mean, are there other math curriculums out there that we've looked at? Like, I mean, this was the best option though.
Out of the
In
ones
your
that
mind?
we've looked at, and going back to what Mr. Ravinia said too, I think we're missing the foundations. So in order to do the problem solving and the investigating and doing that, we have to have those foundations built. Just watching some of our students here in that 7th and 8th grade level, they have a hard time adding and multiplying. Even knowing what it means to do that, if you don't have that, you're not going to be a problem solver, you're not going to be a critical thinker. Whereas with Saxon, you're going to build that foundation, definitely. And I agree, it is sedentary. I mean, as a former math teacher, when I first came out of college, I hated Saxon. I did. But there were other textbooks out there that didn't go, the pendulum has swung too far the other way. So it's all investigating, it's all doing this and skipping foundations so they can't succeed. I mean, we have to get it back in the middle somehow. And that's why we thought about going through 8th grade. And then 9 through 12 then would be their algebras, their geometries, and they're not Saxon. They'd be based off of McGraw-Hill, I believe.
So if we do this, the reveal math, how much of that do we actually get yet I mean, I know we paid for it. So do we get some of that they can use in addition, so they can use both things, or we don't? What do we
No,
get
we would
since
still-
we already paid for it?
We would still get the consumables that I think we get 20 consumables per grade.
With your hands,
Yeah.
The books are still just coming. All the volumes of them are still
I was
just
gonna say, the only reason we use it is because we paid for it.
Yeah.
Like, we pull it in as we need it, but the only reason we're using it is because, I mean, at least in 4th grade, a lot of the reason is because we paid for it, so I pull it in.
It's
I
not
didn't know if it was something that you could use them together or not, I don't know, it's
It
not
could
my
be
specialty, so.
potentially be used as a supplemental resource, pieces of it could, but not the majority. The other thing that came with it was a lot of manipulatives, hands-on stuff, that's not getting used because we don't use the curriculum with Fidelity. So those pieces can still be used, the hands-on pieces that came with the previous curriculum. If you need a clock, it's the clock, you can still use it.
And how they ship it, it's okay, so the first year that was ordered, 1st grade got 30 books, 2nd grade got 25. The next year they send us the exact same amount, which is dumb because our class numbers change. So eventually I had to tell them, okay, this is what we need for this year, we don't need as many, or, well, you sure you don't want, you guys paid for it. We have no place to put them. Regardless, and then we need more of the others, so for the next 2 years, we're gonna have to tell them either don't send them, even though they're still paid, they're paid for, or are we gonna get 35 of whichever number from the first contract.
So it sounds like we need to do something, because if we're not utilizing the system that we have, is that how this was brought up?
Yes. Well, it first initially started with scores, because we've seen, since we started Reveal, we've seen a decline in assessment scores.
And it's really about, what we did is we have a curriculum that's putting the cart before the horse. They hardly can do it.
Not getting the foundation.
And very hard for your students who can't read very well, because it's a lot of reading. So now we're assessing reading skills in math instead of
So you're not using the Reveal, but you're hesitant to go to the Saxon, so what's the
That
other
was
option, I
that's
guess?
why I didn't know if they were two different things that could be implemented together or not. I
Reveal
don't know.
doesn't have enough skill and drill, not even close.
Okay.
There is only 1 page of math facts for an entire unit. How are you building fluency that way? So I've been supplementing the whole time for Reveal.
And what
Where,
we're
like-
seeing, I'm sorry, go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, where Damien and Robin said, Saxon doesn't have enough hands-on. I mean, it's,
So
And that's
in
where-
this
So,
multi-billion-dollar industry of educational materials, nobody's found the pendulum, not this way, not, we haven't found that yet?
No, but think of how much money if you could create that.
I'm thinking,
You're
that's
on it.
exactly what I'm thinking
You're
about.
on it.
Yeah,
And do the online component where you have no choice,
Right.
because it's a continual paycheck.
yeah.
yeah. Well, and it goes back to what the problem was with textbooks from years ago, and it hasn't changed with online. They cater to Texas and California.
Sure.
And that's,
Interesting.
to go back to.
Oh.
so if we spend the money to get this, are you gonna use the
That's just
Saxon?
what I was
too?
gonna ask.
You're gonna hybrid it with
I mean, it will solve some of the problems for sure,
Yeah.
math fact fluency will be built in.
How are we going to, one of the former problems, if you talk to, I don't know if they're available anymore to talk to. One of the problems that I watched through use of SAC myself and then use in other schools is Saxon will leave children behind. And what I mean is, if you do not get through that book, you cannot start the next book. How do we intend to, the book would overlap by about probably 20 days, depending on how your period's at, of repeating, okay, refresh, get you back in, and then now it's go. And by freshman, sophomore year, you're just watching, pretty soon you got the, alternative class, or the alternative name for that class in math. And Saxon very much promotes, back when Saxon was invented, we were gonna fight the Russians, right? I don't know if we're going there again, but that's what it promoted, and within the curriculum is a advanced class, and the rest, well, whatever you get, good enough. Or are we okay with that? And maybe we are, I don't know. But have we thought about that, or have that mindset?
No, we have, and I think a lot of it, education has changed since then too, with title coming in, with MTSS, and making sure that those students that are struggling do have time built in their schedule to get that help, to get them in. We talked about the IXL program that we purchased last year, to use that as a supplement, where if somebody's struggling, we can focus in on the topics they're struggling in IXL, and they have time to do that.
Do you think that'll be enough to make sure everybody stays together, at least to a certain point that we can?
I think to a certain point, but
Right now, what we're seeing with Reveal, that slowly, every single year, we're getting farther and farther behind by every grade.
Oh, sure, so it's a lesser.
The other situation we're gonna run into is with the state coming out, like we now have the science of reading, and there are only certain curriculums that North Dakota allows for the science of reading. So now we're coming out with the science of math, and so I don't remember what the gal's name is, had kind of looked at the curriculums that we looked at on this science of math rubric per se. And the only other curriculum that we were considering going with aside from Saxon was not rating where it needed to be to cover all of the components that they're gonna throw at us for the science of math. So at some point, we're not going to have an option, we're going to have to pick a curriculum that aligns with the science of math, just like we were forced to do with the science of reading.
and so far, she said Saxon aligns the best out of all the curriculums,
Interesting. Who's she?
I'll have to get her name.
I don't care either.
She's was a teacher in Bismarck, but now she's like the state expert for the science of math.
Is it necessary to buy like the Saxon for K through 8 if they have the foundation? Like, I'm like literally just asking, I have no idea, but like, is it, obviously you guys know, like, you think that through 8 and grade is, like, if they say, you're saying that they don't have the foundations, or they're not getting the foundations in the younger grades, like, is that something we can do like K through 4 and then stick with the Reveal for 2 years? Or you think like K through 8 should all have the Saxon?
I would suggest up here they for sure have Saxon, because I feel like it's the only thing that's gonna prep them for the investigative classes, like your algebras, your advanced classes, your calcs, and your other things. I don't know how elementary feels.
When I think we have
And
the
your
same,
physics.
you have the same problems with Reveal grades 6 through 8 here, that same as elementary.
Yeah, my thought is that with anything, I think you could start Saxon and end it, but to pick it up later and not, I think you'd end up doing a lot of remedial work, because like I said, it's literally a path, it is. And you can't get to the next stepping stone without having done this prior lesson. Like, you will run into a block of just, we have never taught how to factor variable. If we haven't taught that, you're gonna hit a spot where it's like, you skipped it. Yeah, it's such a sequenced, Mr. Ziegler said it right. It's got a scope and sequence. There's no doubt about that. They figured that portion out, and that's class to class. And
I don't know if you want to talk about 6th grade, what the teacher saw there with Saxon last year.
Well, we haven't gotten our NDSA scores back, but our FastBridge scores, which is quarterly, well, a little bit less than quarterly, 3 times throughout the year, showed they went from, I think it was a 24% to an 80% proficient That's a huge jump, and that
With
was our-
using Saxon.
with using Saxon.
And what was
We
the
didn't-
timeframes on that? How did that go?
Well, we didn't implement it until the end of first quarter. So they didn't even have the full year and they jumped that high. But we haven't got NDSA to confirm that.
And just anecdotally, there was a lot of kids that were like, oh, I get this now.
Yeah, they were, yeah. And it is a different mindset though, they have to get used to it. Like when we throw it at them, we literally have to start walking them through it and take our time getting going maybe because it was different going back.
I mean, I guess in my opinion, if all three of you administrators think that this would be better for the kids and it is improving our scores.
We looked at a lot of curriculums. And we had the state score a lot of curriculums and so far this was the highest.
So do we have a
Is that
lot
how
of
you
these
feel,
books
Emily?
staying around then, from Saxon? 'Cause we were using them. Do we have a bunch of these books already? From Saxon?
No, we have the old ones that are
The
retired.
elementary doesn't even have the old ones.
Only 6 through 8 does.
How many years do you can you use these textbooks? For like do you use I mean like how
Saxon pretty much forever, as long as the textbook stays in
Oh,
good
are you
shape.
asking like how well did the
They hold
textbook
up,
hold
yeah.
up?
No,
or-
I'm like saying like if we buy this, are we gonna use these textbooks for like 3 years, 2 years,
Well,
1 year?
What another one of our concerns is that rumor has it, we haven't been told for sure, is that Saxon is gonna be done in 2027. But we were told by somebody that works with Saxon that that's not official yet. And he sounded like it was gonna be continued. So that's why having the textbook option is great, because then we can use those textbooks for the next 10 years.
Okay, that's what my question.
Whereas, like even Reveal, it's a lot of online stuff, isn't it?
The online stuff was terrible.
Well,
I don't
well,
use any of the online.
And I
It was
think
meant to
honestly,
be online.
the conversations as we had as teachers, same comments as the online reveal was so terrible that I actually specifically asked whatever we cannot have online would be best because instead of that continual online and having to deal with, okay, my computer's dead, I can't get on, or something happening electronically, or the teacher's looking for something but can't find something, or those things where you can just start your lesson.
it's easier to
It's
say,
more
turn to
concrete.
page 32.
It's concrete. This is what we're doing today.
Pendulum's coming back.
Mhm.
Well, it looks like this is 2018 edition, when's the next edition coming out then? At the 27 one then?
We don't have a confirmation of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, and that's why the dollar figure is so high too, is because it's not a recurring cost. The only recurring cost will be the workbooks for kindergarten through 2nd grade.
So basically we'd have to pay this $45,000 this year and then next year it should not be near that much.
Correct.
26.
You asked me how elementary side, I was just processing, I heard you, and I was trying to listen to you and Dave at the same time. I think that when you look at the grand scheme of doing what's best for kids, there's never going to be a one size fits all. It's just not gonna happen. Some kids, if we could execute Reveal correctly, that's how they would learn. But unfortunately, we're so far off on that right now that we're losing the majority of them. So whether Saxon is right or wrong, we have to do something because Reveal is not working. And prior to Reveal, we did all of our own. Like I have binders upon binders of curriculum that I printed off the internet and just piecemeal together because that's where we were at when we got rid of Saxon the first time. So I kind of feel like we've gone down this really bad path right now that we just need to come back from and be consistent somewhere because we're pulling from all over. We're not using the same math vocabulary at this point across grade levels. Like it's not. So do I think that Saxon may be the best option? 100% not for all of the kids, but nothing's going to be, so.
The curriculum's just the guide, it will be up to the teacher to individualize
Yep.
it. I will be making them more interactive.
Yeah. And that's with everything, I mean, you're never going to get away from the, we need a supplement for that lesson, it's just not out there right now.
Anybody have anything else? No. Okay, so do we wanna do this?
I think it,
So we wanna make a motion?
I move that we change our curriculum and buy the HMH, the proposal that's in front of us for Saxon math,
Okay,
proposed to us by the administrators.
is there a second?
Okay, one more thing. This is just for 1 year, right? Like this,
This cost?
yeah,
Yes.
Yes.
okay.
Except
It's too much.
Except for the the
Except
consumer.
for the
Consumables for the
consumables, but like
sport.
this is just a 1 year contract
Yes.
that we're
It'll
gonna
be
do
$8
this
grand
time.
next year.
before you guys
Okay.
decide,
It'll be
can I ask
$8
a
grand next year.
question? Because as I looked at the curriculum, my problem, and I love math, like math is my favorite to teach. And my scores did go up. Like I gave that whole presentation last year to the board members that were here. Lindsay did it, like we did that rotating, it was working. Yes, we were not using a curriculum, so there is a problem with that. Like we do have different vocabulary. My concern is I teach small groups. And as I look through the Saxon math, how am I cannot grasp, and maybe it's just me. I can't grasp how I'm going to individualize, personalize, and teach small groups because it is laid out exactly how you're supposed to do it. This part is supposed to be this part's supposed to be this they're supposed to do on their own. And I can't grasp how I'm supposed to individualize and personalize to Saxon math.
I think that's
So-
with any curriculum though. I mean, even with reveals, you had to do personalized and to
But
make
it
it
was-
work for small groups.
Again, I didn't use a lot of reveal. We've been using supplements. So it when I had the reveal, it was set up differently, those lessons, to where the whole lesson was about one subject. Saxon isn't. So like I'm having a hard time, and I know there may be a problem because I didn't get to look at 4th grade. We didn't get a 4th grade supplement, it was 5th grade, and I tried to look at 5th grade and look at the state standards, and I could not figure out in the 5 lessons that I looked at in the Saxon 5th grade book, how those lessons matched up with any state standard. Like I couldn't find it, but I don't teach 5th grade. So I know there's a gap in that. But we're about personalizing, we're about individualizing, and I don't know how to, like looking at that, that's where I'm gonna struggle. Like I've looked at the 5th grade lessons, and again, it's the 5th grade lessons. I don't know 5th grade. But that's where my struggle is coming in as I look at this. Like how can I teach a small group of 3? There's not enough time to teach the whole lesson, and like I could do a whole group and then, but it's set up differently to where you can't skip around. You have to teach the whole lesson and you have to teach them in order. And so to personalize and individualize and make sure I'm bringing everyone with me as we move on to the next lesson, that is my struggle. I do agree that reveal is not the right answer. This is better than reveal. I will give it that. I will give it that. I just, to say this is what we're gonna use long term, or I don't know, I didn't see 4th grade. But I love math and I'm scared to teach this because I don't know how I'm going to teach the students that are struggling. Those level 2 that we're not sending to title, that we're supposed to be helping in the classroom, how I'm going to hit them so that they don't continue to fall further behind. Because our goal is to get those kids out of title. We're trying to keep kids from going into title. Yes, we have that, but our main goal is to keep them from getting there. Those ones that are on that cusp. If you tell me that we can do that with this, great, I'm on board.
We can do that with this.
Okay.
And FastBridge will offer some guidance for those progress monitoring kids on the topics or whatever.
And also Excel.
And plus splitting
But I don't want a
classrooms.
computer to teach my kids.
Right.
That's my job.
I also know that when you get a sample of a curriculum, you're not seeing the whole, like I'm just looking at like what's up here, Saxon Math Guide to Differentiated Instructions, grade 4. Like to me, like that's what you're asking, right? Differentiated instruction would be your small groups. But I also think that that's where you have to have like the autonomy to say, okay, I taught the whole group lesson and I know that this group of kids, like yes, they got the core instruction, but they need this. Then that's what you're doing during small group. Doesn't matter what Saxon says to do during that time. If you know they're not ready, that's your professional judgment to make that call. What am I gonna do with that group of kids to catch them up?
So they're not gonna fall further behind if I'm not making them finish the lesson in Saxon.
Well, you're not skipping the lesson in Saxon. They're still gonna get the core. Do you know what I mean? Like you're still teaching that lesson
Yeah,
to them.
but if they don't finish the whole thing, and I focus on the one thing, and they're not getting that spiral review that Saxon is about, are they gonna fall further behind? Like if I have to focus the whole time on my small group on them getting today's concept, and they're not getting that spiral review,
I will never advocate for you to give them that written practice every day anyway. I mean, it's there for a resource, but that is not an ideal thing. Like even 6th grade, it wasn't all, I mean, I have a daughter in 6th grade, so I know what was assigned all the time, and it wasn't every day.
Right.
So if you, and you are spiral reviewing. If you pull that small group back and teach them what you know they need that is spiral review. Because it would be something that you know that they need. No, it's not the 30 written practice questions, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And that's my flexibility, I guess, with my teachers as an administrator. I trust them to do what they know that their kids need. And if it's not Saxon that day, it's not Saxon that day. Do they need to follow the curriculum? Because yes, we're spending the money on it and we need to do it with fidelity to see if it's working. Yes, but they have to have the flexibility to give the kids what they need at their level also.
Well, and I think more along with that, another thing that's important is the scope and sequence. When you're pulling from here and you're pulling from there, you lose that. So you might be teaching something that they're not ready for because they didn't have this foundational piece. So with a curriculum like Saxon, you have that scope and sequence.
And ultimately, that's my worry about pulling from this and pulling from that, is we're personalizing it too much and we're not getting our core foundation.
Exactly.
And when I did it, I guess I just did facts over and over and over, and do math pretty well now, and I just want everybody to go forward with the basics at least. We can individualize on top of that, but we need to have the core.
Yeah.
And clearly what we have now is not working.
Yeah.
Mrs. Adamson, let me see if I'm following right your concern though. Cause you kept saying, I don't know if I know how to personalize, but yet I know you know how because you said that's
but
what
with
you've
using
done
Saxon with fidelity.
so far, right? Okay, but I think what you're struggling with is time, is that right? The concern of how do I keep up, cause Saxon is a very driven, have to each day, schools with a block schedule really struggle with Saxon. There's just not even enough time. Is that what I'm hearing right though? You don't see how there's enough time to keep up, if you will, with
I've
the
got
Saxon.
55 minutes to teach math.
Right, and yet provide individualized instruction, yeah. And I think
But
that's
it is better than reveal, like.
I think you got me convinced that reveal's not the way to go. But I think that's something, I'll just say that I think the administration and teachers need to work on that. I'll say this, I do not like that we've been put as a board in this spot. 2 weeks before school starts, and we're presented with an option that obviously has not been vetted out well and all the concerns addressed. And
There isn't one though that, I mean, we vetted it out. Every other company that we looked
and
at.
all of the concerns addressed so that it's not being brought up at this point, that's just, I expected a little bit more, but
They were
we're
addressed.
kinda. Okay, but yeah, it puts us in a tough spot.
Okay, with that being said, we have a motion on the floor.
I second.
Okay, we have a second. Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Abstain, yes, don't do that.
Okay, preliminary budget.
Budget is changed to what we decided during our working group. So I didn't add it on here, I guess, because I thought we had it finished at our working group, so we just needed approved. We couldn't do it at the working group. Couldn't have a vote.
Was that preliminary or final budget? What's this one?
This is still, it's called preliminary, yeah.
Yeah, I'll move to approve the preliminary budget as presented at our working group.
Is there a second? Motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Transportation report.
Transportation report, this is the report we send to the state every year, so this, how do I rotate it?
Right there.
This is from last year, so it gives us all the buses, how many runs they've made, total riders, total miles. And we just need an approval and a signature, so we can get it off to the state.
Move to approve the transportation report.
Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, new business, CD renewal.
Another CD renewal, it's a 6 month one is up. I'm not sure which one this is. They're both the same
They're both
amount,
the
are
same
they?
amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's whether you want to renew it or not.
You know what the rates are?
4%.
They're down 0.5% from last time, I think, right? Was it 4.5 last time?
Is there any other options that we looked at at all? Is there any better options at all?
Savings account and CD are the only two things we've ever done, right? Are we limited to what we can put it into? I remember I guess I asked that before.
I don't think so.
Yeah, because you can do like an MMA account if you want to.
Were you gonna buy gold?
Bitcoin.
That's where it's at.
I just missed the boat a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll move to renew the CD.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. New hire.
New hire, 4th grade. We waited as long as we can. We did have one applicant, but it wasn't, it fell through. So our new 4th grade teacher is a resident of the district and will be working on getting her teaching degree as she's working with Mrs. Adamson in 4th grade.
Yep, and she has a teaching degree, it's just not in elementary ed.
Oh.
So we just had to do an endorsement through the state, so it's a 2-year elementary education endorsement. After 2 years, she will have to take the praxis. She could do the praxis right now if she wanted. There's other options, but the state had us do the elementary education endorsement onto her current teaching license.
Do you need a motion for that?
Yep, just to approve the hire.
I'll move.
I second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
We have 5 tuition waivers. The first one was the one we talked about in July. Coker, kindergartner. We have split the class now. So I think Lindsay, you're okay.
I move to approve.
Okay.
Do we approve them all at once or
No,
just
I think
one
we
at
do
a time?
Individually, yeah.
Individually. Okay, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
The next one is Bradstreet. This is a kind of a complicated situation where the students will be in our district 1 week, out of our district the next week. They're gonna go back and forth. So we do need a tuition waiver for the time that they're out of district.
So you mean they're going in, like they're gonna spend a week in our classroom and a week in somebody else's classroom?
No,
Oh,
a
they're
week
good.
with one parent and
Okay.
a week with another different parent.
Okay,
Their residence changes.
gotcha.
Move to accept Bradstreet's tuition waiver.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Bryant, another kindergartner.
Are these tuition waivers, are they like in addition to Lindsay's numbers on the, or are these,
Did you have them in your report already?
All but one, yes.
okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, and it's actually a wash, cause we were informed one is leaving.
Oh.
It's like I wasn't counting one, so we'd be at 155 kindergarten with all three of these will be at 26.
Anybody want to make a motion on the Bryant one?
Move to approve the Bryant tuition waiver.
Second.
Motion and second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Neidhart.
Neidhart,
I move to.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
and we do have one that just came in the last couple of days, and that was Lesh. And let me find that one.
What grade is it? I don't know if it matters if you find it, we just tell us what it is.
Kindergarten,
Kindergarten.
So then we're gonna be fine still.
26, yep,
Okay,
counting that one.
Move to approve the Lesh tuition waiver.
I second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. RACTC report.
I was on that call. I couldn't hear 90% of what they were saying, so I'll go to the in-person one next time.
Okay. WERC.
Their main thing right now is focusing on cognitive reviews and helping schools work through that process, which is good for us because we're in our 3 years until our review, so we have to start really looking at our data and keeping track of it so we can get through the cognitive accreditation.
All right, next meeting Wednesday, September 10th at 5:30 for the Truth in Taxation meeting with the board meeting to follow, correct?
Correct. The Truth and Taxation meeting isn't a board meeting, but it's a required meeting that we have to have every year. Board members are more than welcome to come, but it's not one that we just try and tie it to a board meeting, so if you wanna come, then you can come.
Okay,
And I think it'll move to 6 PM, right?
And it moves to
Yep.
6 p.m.
nothing else, we will adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I don't think we need a motion.
We don't? Okay, well, I'm making it.